It's the end of the year, and it's time for my annual video where I pay respects to the rockers we lost in 2023. It would be impossible for me to include everybody, so I'm going to mention the ones that I feel have a connection to the content on this channel. I will be mentioning them in chronological order of the day they passed away. On January 1st, we lost Sebastian Marino, former guitarist of Overkill and Anvil. He died from a heart attack at the age of 57. I remember that somebody told me that he died after I mentioned an Overkill album called From the Underground and Below. It was part of my underrated albums of the 90s series, and I didn't know about it at first, but he's a great guitarist. I really enjoy those particular Overkill albums, even though they were changing their style at the time, but definitely worth a mention. On January 10th, we lost Jeff Beck. It was a big loss for the music world because most people know him as a guitarist. He's had lots of solo albums. Many people also know he was part of the band in the 60s called the Yardbirds. And in this band, he played with Jimmy Page, which basically means that band evolved into another big band called Led Zeppelin. And if you know, I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan. I got the shirt right here. And I've done many videos about that band. So he was definitely worth a mention. On January 18th, David Crosby passed away. He was a very popular musician from the late 60s and to the early 70s. He played with Neil Young in Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. I'm a big fan of Neil Young. I've reviewed many of his albums on this channel, and even though I do a lot of metal content, this is also a classic rock channel, so I want to give him a mention. On March 5th, Gary Rossington passed away. He played guitar with Leonard Skinner. He was the last surviving member of the original lineup. He will be missed. If you don't know, Leonard Skinner is one of my favorite rock bands, and I really like their first few albums. On March 8th, Joshua Madsen, the drummer of Artillery, died after being hit by a bus at the age of 45. This was very sad because 45 years old is pretty young to pass away, and it was by being hit by a bus. It's just some chance event. It makes you think you never know when your time is going to come. I mentioned him because I did a review of an album by Artillery a few years ago, and I want to give him a mention. On March 22nd, Wayne Swinny, the guitarist of Saliva, died from a brain hemorrhage at the age of 59. This was also very sad because 59 is pretty young to leave this earth, and it was from a brain hemorrhage. Supposedly that's something that can hit you at any time, so it seemed like it was something that happened very suddenly. I know Saliva released an album this year. I mentioned it in one of my videos, but I just wanted to give him a mention because it's very sad how he passed away. On April 7th, John Regan, the former bassist of Frehley's Comet, died from undisclosed reasons at the age of 71. This was one I didn't hear about. I just learned about it as I was doing my research. I wanted to give it a mention because I had a few of Frehley's Comet albums from back in the day. I really like them. I like everything he has done. Ace is probably my favorite Kiss member, so for that reason I'm going to give him another mention. On May 22nd, Kirk Arrington, former drummer of Metal Church, died from an unspecified illness at the age of 61. This is another one that was pretty sad because Metal Church has had really bad luck with their members. I think it was a year ago we learned that Mike Howe passed away, and their other singer, David Wayne, died many years ago. This was kind of sad because they were one of my favorite bands. They still are, and I know Kirk Arrington played on my favorite Metal Church album, which was Blessing in Disguise. So I feel he needs to be mentioned. On June 23rd, Lee Rauch, former drummer of Megadeth and Dark Angel, died from undisclosed reasons at the age of 58. This is someone who I didn't really know about very well. He was one of the first drummers of Megadeth, and allegedly he played on the first demo tape and he was replaced later, but it was interesting to hear he was part of one of the most important metal bands around, so for that reason I'm giving him a mention. On September 1st, Jimmy Buffett passed away. He released an album this year a few weeks after he died, and it was pretty good. I listened to it. I didn't get a chance to give it a review. I always enjoyed his music. Most people know the song Margaritaville. He even has a chain of bars called Margaritaville. I remember going to one in Key West many years ago, but anyway, he is legendary and will be missed. On October 24th, Steve Riley, drummer of Riley's LA Guns and former drummer of LA Guns, Wasp, and Keel. He died from pneumonia at the age of 67. This one was sad because I know LA Guns is one of those bands that had a lot of problems over the years. Riley had his own version of LA Guns, and he released an album in 2020 with the band. Supposedly there's another album that has not been released yet. It's supposed to come out in 2024, so we can look forward to that. On November 17th, Charlie Dominici, the former vocalist of Dream Theater, died from undisclosed reasons at the age of 72. This one was sad. He was only on the first album. It was their debut album right before James Labrie joined the band. I want to give him a mention because I'm a big fan of Dream Theater. I've been listening to them for a long time, so for that reason I want to give him a mention. This is the last video of the year. I usually save this video for the last video of the year. It's actually December 24th when I'm recording this, so if anybody else passes away between now and the 31st, I'll just do a little short to pay tribute. My next video will be in 2024. I don't know what it will be. Please check out these videos in the meantime. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.